Hi, Matthew Appleby from Horticulture Week, and I'm here with Sarah Millington from Hillview Hardy Plants.
Lovely to see you as always.
Now, Sarah, you've become a bit of a TV star recently because you were on Gardener's World at Malvern on the telly.
Yes, and well, it's just been fantastic. The amount of people who've come to the nursery since seeing us. We still have people coming up to us at the shows and things saying, "Oh, you're on telly. Oh, can we get a selfie?" Yeah, it's been really good for us.
And good for business?
Excellent for business, yep. We're still doing the mail order of auriculas from May, from when we were on telly. So yeah, it just hasn't stopped. It's been really good for us.
Have you caught up?
Just about. I think we've got the last couple just to send out, but yeah, just about there at last.
So what's Hampton Court like as a selling show?
Traditionally, Hampton Court's been really good. Even last year, having had a break, it was good, successful. This year, we can only hope. Beautiful weather as usual. It's either raining or beautiful sun. Luckily, it's sunny again today. So fingers crossed, it should be a really successful, interesting show.
And what's the show season been like this year, generally?
It's actually been really good. We were a little bit apprehensive at the beginning because of COVID and people getting out of the habit of coming to shows, but actually it's been pretty much one of the best seasons we've had for a very long time. Because
during COVID, mail order took off, didn't it? Obviously.
It certainly did, yeah.
People couldn't visit nurseries, you couldn't do the shows. Do you think that's going to continue?
I'd like to hope so. I'd like to hope that people have got into the swing of doing mail order plants and realising that you don't just have to have the little plug plants, you can have fully grown plants from nurseries. So hopefully, touch wood, mail order will continue and the shows will be a nice sort of supplement for people so they can actually come and meet all of the growers as well.
Yeah. Are there any sort of issues or barriers to trade that you're seeing at the moment, making things tricky for you?
The usual Brexit, importing, prices have gone up for all the commodities, from the growing media to the pots, and obviously plant prices traditionally don't tend to rise a great deal over the years, but you know we're doing our best. We're trying to streamline, try and be efficient, and just keep smiling, really.
Yeah, cool. Now, last year you had your Emma Hort, a bit of it published in Horticulture Week. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, I did my dissertation on biodegradable pots.
Wow.
I'm still hoping to continue that research. I'm considering doing a PhD based on the biodegradable pots, just doing a sort of a longer experiment. It's just a case of which ones are actually suitable for sort of slightly longer term use rather than the sort of completely biodegradable cardboard ones. So hopefully in the next year or so I'll be continuing that, and I'll hope to have more to report for you.
Do you see that shifting anytime soon? Because during COVID, obviously, use of plastic rose, and you know that environmental thing went a bit on the back burner for obvious reasons. So is that all back?
Well, I think the public is interested in sort of the using less plastic, but until there is a sort of realistic alternative to plastic pots, it's just a case of trial and error. So I want to keep trialling and seeing what sort of materials are actually going to be usable. Because if you have to keep a plant in a pot for a couple of years, you don't want one that's going to disintegrate within 5 minutes of you potting it. So it's just, you know, things that can be used sort of year on year.
Yeah. I mean, my mum's got an auricular theatre made by my brother out of a bit of old cupboard.
I've seen pictures of it.
It's a bit rickety.
It's rustic.
But she uses the old terracotta pots.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to make a comeback?
I would love to say that terracotta would come back, but for things like shows, it's just not practical. They weigh so much. The RHS don't want us to use plastic bags, so can you imagine a terracotta pot, a wet terracotta pot in a paper bag?
Yeah.
It's just going to be carnage.
Yeah.
I think for people using them around the garden, at home, yeah, they're great. But there's benefits and negatives to terracotta pots for growing in an week because they wick the water out, whereas plastic, you know, you can control the watering and that sort of thing. And when we've got sort of pests and diseases around this more that we can't control, you need to have a bit more of a controlled environment for growing plants in as well. So swings and roundabouts.
Swings and roundabouts. Well, we'll watch this space, see how the biodegradable pot situation moves forward in the future. But thanks very much to Sarah Millington from Hillview Hardy Plants, and see you next time.